Hi guys, welcome to your week 37 Modern World launch. And we are down to 10 days left. So there's 10 days left in the school year. Again, it's time to commit. There's still a decent amount of time, especially for those of you who have started working recently. You definitely have time. If you still haven't started working, I would say at this point it's probably better luck next year or enjoy summer school. Okay, so your three options in the next 10 days are to complete all of your courses by May 25th. And for some of you, this should be very, very doable. Others of you, if you have received a letter, you will have the opportunity to be eligible for summer school. Again, this is not free. It will cost $100 per course. So if you're not able to finish all four of your courses by May 25th, then you would owe $400 in order to take summer school. If you're somebody who's about halfway done with each one or so, I think a better strategy at this point would be to go all in on English or all in on history, finish one course at a time. That way in summer, it's cheaper for you and your parents or guardians, and you don't have to pay as much money. So rather than taking 4 classes this summer, maybe you only have to take 2 or 3. But that might be a better option for some of you at this point. And then your third option is to fail your courses and make the rest of your high school career even more challenging. So most of you, it recently switched. If you're in 9th grade, you need 25 credits to graduate at this point. So you should be grasping at every opportunity for credits that you can, because they just get harder and harder as you go. The Artist Expression Project, we are nearing the end of that. This one is basically the final step in completing it. This one is going to be looking more at the Iraq and Afghanistan wars and seeing how the experiences are different or similar from the soldiers that were in World War I. So whenever you open up this checkpoint, the important resources that I have, I think these are the most useful for you. Read the background on the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Do that slideshow to get a little bit of context and background knowledge. Then what you also do is the resource in the middle, find an Iraq or Afghanistan veteran narrative. We do not expect you to know somebody. It's going to be through a website that I'm going to show you. And then I also recommend using the veteran narrative note sheet to guide your notes, because if you take those notes there, you're going to have no problem for the final project. Just basically copying and pasting your notes is all you're going to have to do. So this is going to be, when you click into the Iraq and Afghanistan veteran narratives, make sure you're paying attention to this, because these steps are important. You want to make sure you're paying attention and doing exactly as it's outlined here. So we are going to practice doing that. The Veterans History Project, if you click into it, it's going to take you here. We want to see you either do Afghan and Iraq War. So check those. And if you would like to do a particular thing, maybe the Marines interest you or the Army, check those. If not, it doesn't really matter. If you're interested in seeing a female or male perspective, but what you do want to do is say digitized collection. You want to make sure that says yes. And then we want to check off diaries, memoirs, and transcripts. And then just click go. And this is going to give you, so there's 251 options here. So click in, and this is going to give you particular people. So let's click into Curtis and then click view digitized collection. So this is an interview and his complete interview. There's also a video here. So basically these are all interviews that were conducted of real soldiers from the Iraq and Afghanistan wars that are going to be held in the Library of Congress. So what you guys are going to do is, let me get out of this. You are going to be using the Iraq and Afghanistan veteran narratives while you are going through. So this is the information that you can write about the veteran that you chose. And then as you're listening, you want to fill in the table down here to the key points. So maybe try to find at least 5 key points and your thoughts on that. So again, you should be paying attention to what was the experience of American soldiers in the recent wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. So that's the question you want to have in your head while you're listening to your interview. Again, you can pick any of those people on that website, but this is an important part of the project, is you have to listen to one of those interviews because you're going to then incorporate that into your final project. Once you are ready to, your checkpoint 5 is the art exhibit description outline. And again, you want to be picking the same project essential question that you picked for checkpoint 4. So you're not answering all of these, you're picking one. So say you're picking what are the effects of war, then you're going to type that question in here. So then you're going to make sure that you include your clear thesis statement, which is basically your answer to that essential question. And then you want to provide evidence from 2 different World War I art pieces that you already did in checkpoint 4, and you want to make sure that those are contextualized, meaning you have background information about the time period, the creator of that art piece, and then synthesizing it. So you're comparing and contrasting those 2 art pieces. You also want to have evidence from your own art piece, which means you have to create an art piece. So checkpoint 5, after you watch the videos, the interviews, or listen to the interviews of the Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, you want to create your own art piece that kind of expresses those ideas of what it was like to be a soldier in that time. So then you're going to then compare the experiences of the soldiers from World War I with the experiences of the soldiers that were in Iraq and Afghanistan, if they were similar or different. And then make sure you also explain how those similarities are reflected in the artwork that you created. And then make sure that you explain how all of the art pieces, so the 2 from World War I and also the art piece that you create about the Iraq and Afghanistan war, how do all 3 of those support your thesis statement or your answer to whatever question you pick. Week 38 runs from May 16th to May 22nd, and I'd like to see you guys trying to master all of your remaining focus areas. For those of you who are in a situation that extra credit would help, and meaning that you're done with, or at least you're caught up on all of your projects, I recommend going on to try the additional focus areas and try to get the highest grade possible. And then I'd like to see you submitting checkpoint 5 of the Art as Expression project. So then next week we'll be discussing the final product and how that's all going to work. Your reflection for this week is, what kind of art piece will you create for your art exhibit?